me enjoy Barcelona game, I enjoy Manchester City game, I've enjoyed the rest of the games, and me know about the bon komo na me wura game anymore. Na makanye me bi kakra e de achire about game no we just witnessed, because watching the Barcelona game, because Newcastle, they honestly grounds were a horse Hansi a catcher place, say the grounds now more kono and yet grounds so he won them even before the game. And we will talk about that game, and of course we'll have a conversation about the Manchester City game, and then Helen brought Holland. He's the fastest player what hits 50 Champions League goals, and then or the 49 games, and the RHS or say go na or yes mark and say what hits and Napoli in Manchester City game, Deba Koya me ya partner say Kevin De Bruyne. Now he had to be taken off that early because of red card about game. Change a break, he will come back to that conversation, but I mean, we didn't come back at Barcelona, and when we said this is just usual, back to back, story. Here, Charlie Michelle need you more. When subscribe for me no cast and be kakra. Yaka say grounds be a hostile. A grounds be to say St. James, because sa grounds be no. Ombe ye did this and Newcastle for na case support to be our park one wouldn't even know baba ye home gentle out, because a back quality 1v1 analysis of quality players are to basa no, but what they can do. I'll make me Barcelona compete. The 12 man. The 12 man is the Newcastle supporters. So they need to be around. They need to be rooting for the supporters. Every single challenge, they need to do that with the supporters. And of course, supporters, yes, sir. Now, even in the English Premiership, Newcastle, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Manchester United, the traditional 6 clubs in England. Now, you know what they normally do? I did Newcastle for BNSA. Ye the first 15 minutes, master only Newcastle bo. Now one maintaining composure. Because on the press. One thing Newcastle does it so well. A more pressing game. It's some more pressing from so. So that was the game plan before this game. Barcelona obey then now stop you. And now I watch Newcastle game and honestly, we are into the game one. The first thing you notice from Newcastle approach was the lineup nearby, because Nick Vortamandi almost dropping it because he needed players press Barcelona for Nipa. So now Newcastle went Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, Anthony Elanga. Let's just say these are 3 pieces press Barcelona for no. Behind them, almost 3-man midfield no master. To Tona Lisandro, Jolinson, and Bruno Gomes. And see, clearly, now, let me tell you something. And again, I go back to the conversation about pressing game, because Famisha say even from minute 4, na yanko shadi. Because clearly, Barcelona 4 no, and again, na there was no way a Hansi flick ebese sano. They were going to play the ball from the back. But I mean, try the be now say Newcastle for idea and say Barcelona for the goalkeeper and far baller. Plan is okay. Oh, goalkeeper wa far ball. Until Ronald Royo any Pau Kubasi a big game anymore. And that's understandable, because so goalkeeper could have baller, you don't come close to them. Total football, one of the rules tells you say goalkeeper footballer, we a defender, center halves for the Mumbai game. And of course they did that. So Ronald Royo, Pau Kubasi, who played as a left center half, Mumbai game anymore. Then Newcastle will put Anthony Gordon on Pau Kubasi, Harvey Barnes on Ronald Royo. No majai goalkeeper no. With the ball. Jules Koundé was playing as the right back. Livramento Tona Oye left back. No, he quickly jumps from his left back position to press Jules Koundé. Now Gerard Martin, let's just say Anthony Elanga afano. Let's just say Newcastle far commits on my left back to the high pressing. So the next question said, then what about the 3 midfielders of Barcelona, because if Newcastle does that, Frankie de Jong is going to drop deep and take the ball. Pedri is going to drop deep and take the ball. Okay, when Pedri drops deep, Jolinton follows him. If Frankie de Jong drops deep, Bruno Gomes follows him. You see, this is a typical 1v1 man marking. So Newcastle decided to man mark Barcelona for no. And again, the whole idea is to force Barcelona to make mistakes. So Fermin Lopez also tries to help. When Fermin Lopez tries also to drop deep to help in the build-up, Sandro Tonali presses him. And again, listen, if Newcastle had decided to press Juan Garcia in possession, that means that they are going to allow Barcelona to have the +1 advantage. They decided, no problem. You goalkeeper, take the ball, do whatever you want to do, because at the end of it, those players that you want to locate, we have a player behind that person. You see, Newcastle, that was the whole idea. And again, in the first time, one thing I noticed, because I was listening to the supporters, and some of them were complaining about the fact that Barcelona for no and a ball now no Barcelona for, but please, I understand sometimes you need to pipe down, because Newcastle no come home, you cannot be playing your normal football. And I love the play of Pedri and Frankie de Jong in the game, because Newcastle for no they set a trap for Barcelona and say, yeah, but high game, intensive game. So the trap was that once Barcelona are in possession, the trap is, okay, let's force Barcelona to also play that intense game. If Barcelona had done that, that would have been an advantage to Newcastle, because that is the style of Newcastle, and Newcastle does that better than Barcelona. So what about then? Are you going to play to suit Newcastle, and now say you are going to play your own way? And that's where the conversation of Pedri and Frankie de Jong comes in, because anytime Barcelona for them, Newcastle high press when these guys get the ball, Pedri, Frankie de Jong, they try to recycle the game. And of course, I know Newcastle supporters because Barcelona were passing the ball around, led by Frankie de Jong and Pedri to Frankie de Jong. Then he goes back to Jules Koundé to Ronald Arroyo, Pau Kubasi, Gerard Martin, Fermin Lopez, Rafinha. So recycle the play. The more you recycle the play, the more touches your players have. The more touches number one. And Newcastle chase the game. Once they start chasing the game, the supporters will be against their whole team. So I felt to say, especially in the first 30 minutes, it was a gamer. Everyone had a plan, and I'm sure said Newcastle for plan. No, it's been well explained here. But Barcelona for was okay, and they said, "Yeah, yes, so yeah, dear, no, so the bet me ya no, yen me more born now, move boni. By the born better from name so ya bobo." So, Frank, let me tell you something. In the first half alone, yeah, I mean, what they be in the first half. First half, Newcastle, accurate passes, just 85. In 45 minutes, just 85 accurate passes. Because any almost style, they don't have time for passing. Or Jibona, he's running. Yanko. Whilst Barcelona were recycling with passes. So Barcelona had 218 successful passes in the first half. When trying for Infantil. Said that was the initial plan, says I don't obey. And see, the whole idea, share the 6 minutes. The conversation I make, my jai goalkeeper, who goalkeeper here the open, and no bobo, and no pressy, and no press. Bruno Gomes na odiechire. Now, TC, man, these guys had a wonderful game. It's a true beer. Now, Bruno Gomes, any family, any Jolinton, no more swish whoever they want to press. It was good. Okay, let me even take you to Yanko minutes 33. Minutes 33, and let me also show you one or two things. And there many people are moving on. Okay? Again, what is Barcelona trying to do? They are trying to pass the ball from the back. Newcastle are forcing them to also go back. Again, omo players a man to man, and Barcelona are being forced to move the ball back. But and America say the more touches Pedri and Frankie de Jong enyano, I know na boa Barcelona ntino at some point in time Barcelona for so e push omo kwechire. But whenever Barcelona does that, Newcastle recall it now omo in a 5-4-1 defensive shape. Then they allow the wings, because the whole idea for Newcastle in their defense is they will not let Barcelona penetrate centrally. So omo blockade the central space. Senebaya Barcelona for no in possession. Born omo me more centrally. I don't think I'm complaining about Femi Lopez we so. Me know this uncommon that say Femi Lopez no say Oshatima team near low blocker and yana style no. Danny almost style. What I say, yes, Newcastle for no did not defend in a low block, but how they defended, because the whole idea was to block Barcelona centrally. Now Barcelona players a central zone no. Omobre, Lewandowski, Femi Lopez, because there were players around them. But in Newcastle for no, what they did was that now Ombe Jai wings one because Lami Yamal in the game, and now I'm just going the opportunity. So onya sa spaces are because Newcastle only cared about the central zone. So no move say omo force Barcelona for core wings wa. Now Barcelona here crosser and foul omo because crosser Barcelona be no. Omo players say wa into Barcelona o de your cross ye be pim, your cross ye be pim. Into Gina omo ju omo di no. And a man just going to quiet cross now. Marcus Rashford a heady ball they share you know. So you hundi into they were. In fact, they allowed Barcelona to be crossing. Now, would you want to have a atiafa so the amount? I say, you don't want to honestly, because they drew. And Marcus Rashford again. See, Rashford, optimism Newcastle for too much. Also, so Newcastle for my be on Copa 7 goals against Newcastle. The only team I was show Modudu pa a Leicester City. That's 8, and watching Newcastle 7. Inti. On no musi ye no dada or show more time bia. But now Newcastle for no on say proud to this game. Now when Barcelona ball 4 times. Now Barcelona show mu miensa. Newcastle share back. Newcastle share Barcelona was 97-98. Barcelona show mu 1-0 ewo Camp Nou na ombe lose 3-2 ewo England. Because 2002-2003 season, Barca Bomo home and away 2-0. It was Newcastle for fear of 3-1. Before this game, it was 3 wins for Barcelona, Newcastle 1. They say Barcelona are in 4 against 1. And then when they say Newcastle for them, Barcelona supporters just 900 per in the Rock Stadium or 900 into hoping the same come the day ebe kum Barcelona for no into only 900. But you see Newcastle and Barcelona. Omo similarities kakra and yes say a bunch sadie, and of course the only one is say Bobby Robson or no our statue our stadium one tenekra for instance some the scarf ekoto no komo Newcastle the baako Barcelona the baako because time no be coach Barcelona no or the Barcelona the Copa del Rey European Cup Winners' Cup those days near Cup Winners' Cup 96-97 or the Barcelona GA. And about Newcastle, so obey idea bebre into mufan so on the we're making history. Our Barcelona, we're making history. Our Newcastle, so let's honor him. And of course, they did that. And it's a Kenya problem, yeah. What I say, but the game itself, na alcohol issues be kakra. And the spaces nearby, you know. I am extremely happy for Marcus Rashford because and then. Would see narrations na edrume bi na Barcelona for nedwano because then it touches a star bi and so many times with him say now he was fumbling kakra but no problem because of how Barcelona were playing. Now I go happy when he scored the goal. The second goal no credit marvelous. What a goal. Man says hey boy no wash goal say papa. But wait. I now make cancer football wo hu. Margins. First 15-20 minutes, what Newcastle did and what Juan Garcia did, that was the game changer. Here, Newcastle nyinya openings bi anka ball no twat na mu a nka me man game na idea am Barcelona. I'm telling you this. Back on the 4th minute, we say Anthony Gordon ekwashi ampa bi, that could have been a goal number 1 for Newcastle. On the 6th minute, Barcelona for play a proper offside trap. We mama me jina say ha because Elanga fa mu kwa koyanka asem wesi. Because watch this very well. Say pass na koyan radi yesu have bounce mo we dey nka asem wesi. What I say? Inti Barcelona for have bounce strong ko dey nka obehye. And almost set say no offside this at some point in time, Juan Garcia, marvelous. Master say Juan Garcia, no. I am very, very happy for him, honestly. Oyobia, na me can say, ope goalkeepers are any ball chipa. Okamubi. Omo chiball pa, and him say, goalkeeper way yes, onim ball chipa. Juan Garcia, onim sadi any be. And again, Espanyol a team. Omo attack bebre they be are defending in a low block into they be no short bar almost into lots of saves, but now all about Barcelona the problem no na enye saves obey the problem is say he needed to understand how Barcelona plays no about a ball playing goalkeeper, because in terms of saves today we all know he does that very well. What surprises me is how he has adapted to how Barcelona plays. As he say, sweepy ball well. In Tanya say, and then save Barcelona on that occasion, because if the ball had entered the net, Kasem Wesi, Uniboche pa. Inti again, Senan Kobetimi. At the performance or Espanyol, no about a big club like Barcelona, no obetinya yes hadia no na or buy or bear or league demo. People kept on questioning, say, okay, why you league demo dear, obetinya bear our Champions League demo. Young ko baby, I agree. But then why are they? Why are dear papa? Most amount for Bonabaso. Honestly, football, they be America margins plays a huge part of the game, because maybe say once and attention akudi makush rush for the so you better place ne jina park no so, but the reality is that save man and they about game we in Barcelona and 64% possession and Newcastle 36%. Barcelona ball shot 19, 5 of them and on targets and 2 a goal. And of course, Newcastle bought 10 shots, 6 not a on target. And see, that's what it is. Newcastle for last minute, and Anthony Gordon and so Etse Kadema Newcastle. But I'm saying interviews, niggas where cause me the fra. But honestly, now me say monitor the Manchester City and Napoli game, you know. Now and then Di Lorenzo before the game, or your interview can say, or Momunim Haaland. It sounds like Kevin De Bruyne. I can't name the Achoma about Erling Haaland. Only for Di Lorenzo on the 21st minute. Wakocha Haaland ama na a red card. Nti nimna unimno na a red card than unimno na. But sad decisions we say yeah, but where did they? Nti almost show no red card no. Na Antonio Conte any option bia, because red card ne buy no ma Politano kojina right back, or because the way the Manchester City for attack no, he needed to make substitutions. And I was Napoli for midfield na Loboska, Kevin De Bruyne, McTominay, Anguissa. So probably yine free, because when the red card 21st minute, now be here energy there. And the next say Kevin De Bruyne, because and then Kevin De Bruyne ever game in the Manchester City for just yo there was somebody Yamani you know my dear man, only for Kevin De Bruyne 25th minute was a coach in the uniform. Hey ya pass Obi game pa. So they took him out. Manchester City for first half. When show 10 against 11 no win to only for we to come back. Feel for the pass if you are the man Haaland didn't bobo ni shen. It was a wonderful pass. Say for the number 10 one. He's gradually gaining grounds or building the mojo confidence. Now start say eba and Jeremy Doku is also playing well and they go no shen so fair. Because on one can send a J-ball no say me the ball be ko pushy ball no e de ko ya oko place ball no de shey excellent goals so far inti and one ye di more Manchester City for we ni they have a game against Arsenal we Emirates and no any game kese pa no and no so na among for ehwe ni we pa but then Club Brugge as 4 Monaco ashe ba ko Rade Monaco and Hansi abogo but Club Brugge a ball ye inti be ye pa ni Copenhagen Leverkusen game no 2-2 and the Frankfurt for pass no musia share Galatasaray for no 5-1 Galatasaray was the first goal go for not to show mo 5-1 Aje yan fambo we are come Man City Napoli 2-0 in favor of Manchester City Barcelona echo win 2-1 on Newcastle Sports Lisbon and so eshe Kairat for the nature say Champions League you know. Yeah, the first round of games, and of course, first round of games, you know, Yabo Bobo Bonini and Yafini Bebo table. Now, I mean, first round of games, they are not no lie. What's I say? But the most important thing say Yabono, man, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we are done. It's the Adriano. On to the next video. Me say interviews no go work also. Me bob boni nyina no na next video maba na mabe cheche mu e de a chiro. Yakopon on shira no nka ho bebre. We are coming back soon.